Hi friends, I'm so excited to read with you again this week. This week we're going to read another nonfiction story. Can you remind me, what does nonfiction mean? That's right. Nonfiction means something that is written about something that is true. So it's written about a real person or a real place or even a real animal. Remember last week we read the story about a baby penguin story, and we got to learn how the baby penguin grows up. Last week we practiced the skill of wondering. Can you remind me, what does it mean if we're wondering about a story? Yes, wondering is when we think about what the questions that we have about the story. So we're thinking about what else we want to learn. And wondering really helps us understand the text better because it really makes us think about what it is that we're reading. So this week we're going to get to read another story about a baby animal, and we're reading a story about a baby duck. Let's take a moment and just look at the cover. What do you see? What do you think the story might be about? On the cover I see we have the title, I see we have the author, and someone new that we are learning about, the editor, so someone helping edit the writing, so making sure all the words are the right words, making sure the story sounds good and that all the information is true because it's our nonfiction story. So our author is Martha Rusted, and Gail Sanders Smith is our consulting editor. So they're the ones that wrote the words and took the photographs of the picture. That takes me to the picture. We see a picture of two baby ducks. So that's giving me a clue that one, this is a nonfiction story because it's a photograph. It's not a painting, it's not a drawing, it's a real picture. So it's of real animals. So I think that's a clue that tells me that this is a nonfiction story. It's something that's true. And then I also see that it's baby ducks. So I think this story is going to teach us about baby ducks, just like how our last story taught us about baby penguins. All right, let's read and find out. A mother sits and sits. Her egg stays warm in her nest. Crack, crack. That egg has a tiny hole. Now another, and another. Right now, I'm wondering what's gonna happen next. One by one, tiny ducklings push out using an egg tooth. I wonder, what is an egg tooth? I've never heard of that before. Brr, they're wet and cold, but duckling feathers dry and fluff up quickly. Let's go! Mother duck waddles from her nest. Follow in line, keep up, don't get lost. All right, let's practice waddling like a duck. If you're sitting down, go ahead, stand up and waddle, 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 just like ducks. Awesome. All right, come join me again, my little waddling duckies. Jump right in, splash. Paddle around the pond. Move those webbed feet to swim. So webbed feet is a little different than like our hands. Our hands, we have these spaces between our fingers. But if we had webbed hands, we would have pieces of skin kind of connecting between each of our fingers. So when you look at a duck fin, let me see if I can find a picture real quick. I'll have to post a picture, I think. Oh, here we go, kind of. You'll be able to see it a little bit. So the mom's foot, she has skin between her two toes. So that's a web foot, so it makes kind of like a paddle for when they swim. Let's find out. Keep reading. Hop out and shake off that water. Cuddle close to mom. Oil from her feathers rubs off on us. Quack, quack. Cheep. I'm hungry. How about you? Grab food with your bill. On a duck, the bill is like their beak. So that on a duck is a bill. Watch out! That fox just tried to eat you. Mom hissed and quacked and chased it off. She keeps us safe. Oh boy, that was a close one. So let's pause and think. What have we learned? What do the ducklings learn from their mother? Let's go back. What are the things that the mom duck, what does she teach her babies? On this page, go ahead, shout out. What is the mom teaching them? Yeah, she's teaching them how to walk. She's teaching them how to waddle. And on this page, we don't see the mom, but I can guarantee the mom is teaching them how to swim. On this page, do you remember what she's doing? She's giving them oil off of her feathers and giving it to them. That will help them stay dry when they're swimming. On this page, the mom taught them how to eat using their bills. And on this page, mom helped keep them safe. All right, let's keep reading so we can learn more about baby ducks. Ooh, looks like they're growing up a little bit. Let's play and chase. We're growing bigger every day. Pick and preen. Remember, we learned that word preen in our book on baby penguins. Preening means like picking things out. Pick and preen. Fluffy feathers fall out. Sleek feathers grow in. Use your bill to spread oil all over them. Today's the day. I fledge and fly. Goodbye, Mom. Goodbye, brothers and sister. I'm on my own. And that's the end of our story. At the end of this book, we have something called a glossary. Let me show you. A glossary shows us different meanings of the words that we might not understand in the story. So one of the words is bill. So if you were like, oh, I don't know what that word means, you can go to a glossary that has at the end of some books and read the bill, the hard pointed part of a bird's mouth. So like their beak, that's what we call a bill. And do you remember in the beginning, I was wondering, when we learned that the birds were hatching, it said one tiny duckling pushed out using an egg tooth. And I hadn't heard that term before, it's egg tooth. So I'm gonna go back to my glossary at the back of the book and see. Oh, there it is. It tells me what an egg tooth is. All right, let's see. Egg tooth, a tooth-like part that sticks out on the duckling's bill. The egg tooth falls off after the duckling hatches. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. So there are more words that we can learn about using the glossary. Now, as we look at this book, it is written and edited by the same people, our baby penguin and our baby duck story. And I'm wondering, what are the same in both stories? So take a minute and think. What was the same in both stories? So some things that I noticed that were the same. Both stories were about baby birds. So one story was about a baby penguin. The other story was about a baby duck. Also, in both stories, we learned how they're born. So in our duck story, we learned our baby birds were born out of eggs that they were hatched from. And in our baby penguin story, we also learned that they were born out of an egg. Interesting. Now, take a minute and think. What is different in both stories? What is different about both of our stories? Our baby penguin story and our baby duck story. Great. So one thing that I've noticed that's different, they are different birds. They're both birds, but one is a baby penguin and one is about baby ducks. So that makes the stories different. Another thing that is different, do you remember who sits on the egg for a baby penguin? Yeah, It's the dad. The dad sits on the egg for the baby penguin to keep it warm. And for baby ducks, do you remember who sits on the egg? That's right, the mom does. The mom sits on the egg. So that's different. They both have a parent that sits on the egg, but one is the dad and one is the mom. Great. So I had so much fun reading this story with you today. We practiced our skill of wondering, oh, actually let's add to that. So now that we've read our story about baby ducks, what is something else that you wonder about our ducklings? What else would you want to know? Awesome. Yeah. So one wondering I have is how the baby birds learn how to fly. Because at the end, we saw that the bird flew away when it was ready to be on its own. But I'm wondering, how does the bird learn how to fly? I'm also wondering, why does he go off on his own? Why doesn't he stay with his moms and brothers and sisters? Interesting. What wonderings do you have? Well, if you do some research and you find out more information about a baby duck, please let me know, because I would love to learn more about these cute little baby ducklings. That is our story for this week. I can't wait to read with you again. I miss you all so much, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!